Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.
I love my business specials because it gets me to speak to some of the most iconic leaders of our time. With me is an old friend and one of the most inspirational people in the music business, an icon himself, Devraj Sanyal, MD and CEO of Universal Music Group, India and South Asia. How are you? Both vaccines taken? Back at the office? You're looking ready to go back on the Brahma stage.
Bro, both vaccines taken. I'm just waiting to see when I can get my booster, man. First day they allow me to take the booster, I'm in line. But yeah, good. Office is on. Yeah, not everyone's in. We're doing bits and pieces, but I'm at work every day. It's the only way I stay sane. I can't sit at home and do this work from home thing. Not my cup of tea.
Sounds very much like the Devraj Sanyal we've loved over the years and the decades. And with me for the very first time, Virat Khullar. He's Group Head Marketing at Hyundai Motor India Limited. Wonderful to see you. How are you? And I hope the family and you are safe and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed as of now. They are safe and healthy as we speak. But yeah, also double vaccinated, going back to office, trying to think that life is normal, which it aren't. But yeah, such is life. So we're carrying on like that and look forward to the conversation today.
Lovely. What's Hyundai Spotlight all about, Devraj?
It's, let me give you a little bit of background. Talent in our country, I mean, there's no need to, I think, underscore it. It's aplenty. Whether you're a pop singer from Punjab or a hip hop guy from Chennai or, some sort of pop rock combination in Mizoram, and I can give you 6,000 such examples. There's a lot of them. The truth of the matter is none of them ever come into the spotlight. None of them ever get picked into a major label setup, which basically means that irrespective of how good you are natively at singer-songwritership, composing, production, whatever, the chances of you ever becoming a mainstream artist is virtually impossible. Now, that 5 years ago would have been totally impossible because back in the day, and literally 4-5 years ago, it was everything about film music. There was no non-film music. Now, in the last few years, obviously, non-film music is equally powerful as much as, for example, the top song on radio for the last 5 weeks is a non-film song by a guy called Badshah, right? Now, in the years and years and years, it would only be film music. So in a world where independent non-film music is coming to the spotlight, it is important for not just the ones who are big and have followings and have deals and have become big to become bigger and better, but it's also, I think, very, very, it's almost like my fiduciary responsibility. It's almost required that somebody in the world says meritocracy can take you somewhere. If you're good, if you're really talented, somebody in the world, there exists a platform somewhere where you may be discovered. And if you are, then you will get treated like a mainstream artist. Hyundai Spotlight was created between Hyundai Motors and us simply because of one of two things. One is we can do this as a label day and night and go on, and it's second nature for us. But the truth of the matter is that it's always limiting because unless you're a big mainstream artist, your networks that are available to you are smaller, so on and so forth. The minute you have a strong marketing partner whose marketing architecture, or let's say the result that they need, the people they need to go to, the demographic and the psychographic split of where they want to end up is the same, then a marketing partnership like this can actually take what we do a lot further. Somebody this morning, Hrishi, asked me, what is my job in a international podcast? And I said, I think it was Guy Osseri who said it. My job is to find talent, develop the talent, and make sure that the talent is put in front of a very wide audience, or as wide as I can make it. The first two I can do on my own. I'm really good at it. There's no one better than me. I can find it, I can scout it, I can develop it. But taking it to the big, fat, wider audience that you need it to go to is virtually an impossible thing unless you have a partner. Which is why it's a naturalized phenomena that two people come together to give this idea and this platform big fat legs, which is why Hyundai Spotlight. The underscoring of it is no matter where you're from, who you're from, what you write in, what genre you sing in, what sex you are, how you look, whether you have a following or no, we couldn't care. At the very base of it, are you an incredible talent? If the simple answer is yes, you send us your music and we will find a way to publish it. The universal way. Big fat, in your face, in front of a big sample size.
Nice. Well, I have to say, Virat, that my wife's loyalties lie firmly with Hyundai. Not for her, the European cars, Eastern or Western. She started off with a Hyundai i10 and now she's graduated to a Creta. So every
Very
time I
cool.
suggest any other brand, it's me out of the door. You just heard Devraj say very pointedly that he's extremely excited by Hyundai Spotlight. How does it tie into your brand thought? A brand thought that I find exceedingly brilliant, beyond mobility, quote unquote, beyond mobility.
Yeah. So, see, Rishi, thanks for the opportunity today, and hello again to Devraj. See, we get, there are times in the marketer's life which are very few when you try to create purist work, which is not directly related to, say, selling cars or whatever products a company has. Anyway, I mean, 70-80% of the work will directly, focus on sales, focus on building product brands, etc., etc. But what we have embarked on in the last month, and this is going to continue for a few years to come, is a brand thought called Beyond Mobility. This is obviously representing Hyundai's commitments and aspirations for this country. See, for the past 25 years, Hyundai has been a very, very strong brand in the country with a very strong number two position from almost day one. But yes, the consumer is changing. The habits are changing, behaviors are changing. So as a brand, we have to, fortify and equip ourselves for maybe the next decades to come. So based on Hyundai's, global vision, which is progress for humanity, I think this brand thought tries to narrate what today's generation is actually looking for, which is not just pure mobility. Our overall ethos at a global level is connecting people with quality time. So while there are smart Indians who have anyway adopted our products very wholeheartedly, how can the brand Hyundai engage with them in all the other engagements or all the other environments they're in? And yes, sports and music are the top two things Indians do. I would not say for a living, but for pastime. So what prevents us to do a purist action on enablement of music talent in India, and then to tie up with the number one music company, which is Universal. So this is the engagement. It's part of the Beyond Mobility campaign. It's one of the things we are doing, and we are developing it very, very strongly. And obviously taking our digital network, taking our customer network as one part, and taking the expertise that Universal has as the other part, and build it together as I would say a very simple, purist talent recognition and enable platform, which should go. Hopefully, find some stars in this campaign.
Knowing Devraj and his excellent team, they will. Talk about the
No, but
first
think
song.
about it, Rishi. In the world, there have been in dance, in singing, playback. All of them were found superstars. Some of the biggest names in the country today, and let's not say outside, some of the biggest names in the country today have come from the idols, from IGT, and so on and so forth. The problem is that for artists who want to be their own artists, who want to sing their own song, who don't want to be a subscript behind when Shah Rukh has his hands open, or actually it's a good example considering he's Hyundai's man, or some Bollywood actor with who's singing on screen and to be a subscript and to be a voice at the back. For that generation who wants to come in the front, there is nothing, right? So hopefully this idea will help that one often ignored piece of the puzzle, come to light and actually give a few people a real chance.
Right. Let's get down to brass tacks. What's the first song and the artist, Devraj?
we, to be perfectly honest, Rishi, it's always a tough thing to do when you're when I'm in to quote Virat, my purist mode, when I'm sitting in my own room, in my own boardroom with my own A&R people, my brain operates very differently because it's a different kind of purism. This we wanted to take to as many people as we could. So obviously, our thinking was slightly different. But the one thing we were very clear of, and I remember Virat and I spoke about this at length, is that we wanted to create, before we went to the artist, we wanted to create a song that was just a great song by itself. Of course, it would tell some stories. Of course, it would have some, not Hyundai brand, but just what we're trying to do as Spotlight. It would shed some light on all of that. But we just wanted a song that would work by itself the same way we work any Universal song or any label works its song, right? So point number one is we wanted a song that would work by itself. Then we said, boss, who can make a song that's young, not irrelevant, has some meaning and logic to people in that mid-level category of life, age, psychographic, demographic. So not too uppity, not too niche, not too basal, somewhere in the middle. Because, in India, you have all of that. You can have rap, which goes from the gully, and you can have, super fancy Prada Vogue kind of stuff going on. So we needed somewhere in the middle line that would speak to a lot many sort of sample sets. And this one kid I really liked, and I remember talking about him, and I said, man, in any case, we have to go work with this guy. His name is King. Because, he wrote this one song that went completely viral. And literally 3 days before, I saw our good friend Ranveer Kapoor in his car listening to the song on repeat and, posting a story. And I said, boss, let's talk to him because he's part of our network. And Aastha, I've been dying to work for a long time in any case because, she's done a bunch of stuff with our other big artist, Badsha. I really like her voice. She's very, very young and cool. And we said, man, if we bring these two people together, could it be a song that would actually perform well on its own? Also, these two have never done work together. So we also wanted the novelty of bringing two people who hadn't done work together, because some of the logic of Spotlight also is to bring unknown styles, unfamiliar people into one room to force them to create something that may be different than what's regular, right? So we want a little bit of novelty. And we put them in we put them in a room a couple of times. Did we love what erupted at the first thought? No. But by the time they spent a couple of hours and a couple of days in what started as in any creative process, we just started seeing, and I remember like 2 days in, I was like, oh my God, wow. And then we started developing it. And then finally came this whole thought of Dhunte Sitare, because we are trying to find stars. These kids are people who've done it the hard way, had a little bit of luck, some godfatherness, some none. And we said, not everyone's going to have their good fortune. And they were very keen as artists themselves to say that, boss, I have no shame in saying, yes, I had one Bada Bhai ka haath on one side and one nothing on the other side. But we fully respect the fact that we had it. We were a little lucky, but we are happy to tell everyone that, boss, we will help you now be big brother, big sister to you to try and do something which is purest and help you achieve your dreams. So it was very, very almost organic, Hrishi. It just became, and I'll be honest with you, we blind tested the song in my building, in Virat's building, completely randomly. And we went to our guys who drive our cars, to the guys who our staff, to senior people, to fellow CEOs who came to the office. And it just was a song that brought a smile to people's faces. And I like that. I realized a long time ago, of course, it's the melody, of course, it's the lyrics, and of course, it's all the stuff that goes into making a song. But a song that can bring a smile to your face, when you're watching and suddenly, you have this slight grin. Those songs inherently do well. So we wanted our first song to count. We wanted our first song to travel. We wanted our first song. You see, you're setting the base of an idea that hopefully will evolve over years and years to come. And both Virat and I are committed to sort of not just being a marketing platform, because otherwise it'll be for me, oh, nobody does anything for young musicians, Devraj does. No brand does anything for them, Hyundai does. No. We actually, if you hear our conversations, if you hear our Zooms and our boardroom conversations, I mean, we had what, 4-hour, 5-hour brainstorming in Delhi. I remember the Innovation office. And it was like a fight. We were all fighting for what we believe in. And to me, that is when you know you have a true partner. A marketeer who writes $1 gazillion, but for this thing, like to Virat's point of 80% we'll always do to sell our cars, but the rub-off of the 20% will maybe someday be bigger than the 80%, because goodwill is something you can't buy. The success of an artist whose time has not come to give him an injection and give him wings is something that you can't fly. And the goodwill that spreads within the brand ecosystem, both whether you're a product or whether you're a label or someone from the music industry, that is unquantifiable.
What do you and the good people at Hyundai think of Dhunte Sitare, Virat?
Yeah, so just carrying on with what Devraj is saying. So firstly, we wanted a nice, hummable drive song. Okay, we did not want to kill the party circuit or go Bhangra or go Tamil. We just wanted a nice, hummable drive song, which should organically be nice to the ears. Now, we are not the music experts. Okay, we are the car guys. The music experts on the other side. Also, we wanted it to appeal to the Gen Z. Okay, the car integration or the drive integration is just organic or just by chance. It just came out at the end, but it wasn't planned. And obviously, ultimately, very, very important for us is that the stars should have a backstory. Because ultimately, in the further 5 songs, we have a total 6-song program for 1 year. For the next 5 songs, the backstory will be the song. It will be about people who do not get opportunities featuring and singing their talent out loud on our platform. Also, interestingly, I mean, there was, remember, Dhoonde Sitare came out from someone like me. I mean, the original, the name of the song was something else.
Correct.
And when I listened to when I not listened, I just read the lyrics and I said, we are actually looking out for stars. That is the plan. And Dhoonde Sitare is one of the concepts in the song. So it finally changed a little bit. Absolute no credit to a non-song guy like me, but yeah, that popped out, and we are very, very proud of it. I mean, it's very simple, very hummable. The first numbers are very good over the last 4 days, and yes, it's not over-promising anything to the people who will pitch in. And as of now, it's got a pan-India appeal. So we also don't want it to be a Northeast star.
It's actually reacting quite well, which is exactly
because going forward,
we wanted to see.
We'll go. Going forward, Hrishi will go across the country. We don't have a Hindi or an English or a Punjabi or any bias. We'll go through the country. It's pure talent coming in from any small, big city, any small, big language that we'll take onto the platform over the next 5 songs. So that's really the message that both these brands together are going to talk openly about.
So
also, sorry, one more thing I might add one more thing, Hrishi, just to complete what Virat said. In the past, we've done not similar things, but things in the same vein. And there it was much more about to try and help as many people, and hence it was quantity. Quantity was more important. Quality was very important, but quantity was also important. This time, between Hyundai and us, we made a conscious call to say, let's dial the quantity down and let's up the quality quotient. So let's spend a lot more money making the best sounding song available. Like, to a kid who's making a song in Ableton in some garage in Villeparle or Ludhiana, they are never going to see a really big fat studio and have the country's top manager, the country's top sound guy, mixing and mastering your song. And then if you want some serious mastering, some kind of thing, it'll probably go to Sweden and get shit done. No, that only happens with big artists. So we said, whether it's the video, whether it's the audio, whether it's the styling, let's actually give them an ability like if they were a mainstream artist, as long as the single tenet is that the talent has to be good and the song has to be something we believe in, right? So with Hyundai's thinking, we said, chalo, let's bring the number down, but let's just add the quality quotient in a way that the country hasn't seen before. And hopefully that itself will give it a little bit of extra rub, than not.
Which actually segues very beautifully into my next question, which is the tune of it is now done. You identified it. And like you said, you ran all these tests and voila, it's out, banging. Who filmed your video? What's so special about the music video for Dhoonde Sitare, Devraj?
It actually, we work with, like any multinational company, we work with a gazillion video producer. This is, some people we really like at ABP, and we do a lot of work with them. But it's not so much the video maker. It's much more the idea that goes into the video. And especially for stuff like Spotlight and all the other things that we do, we are the ones writing the story. As in, not us, the artists are writing the story. Like literally the Dhoonde Sitare version, like Virat said, it was a different name, but the idea was the same. It was them, it was King and Aastha who said, if I had to shut my eyes, this is what I would think. I'm going on a journey with my friends and we're seeing stuff together. It's about everyone coming together and having a good time, especially because of these 2 years of morbidity after COVID. So they literally wrote the script. We just added the peripheral love to it, and then we got great people who have got a great eye. And we said, okay, let's make a seriously stonking video because, again, by the same logic of earlier, it's got to stand on its own 2 feet. Let's face it, there is film videos coming, which are top of the line. There is non-film videos coming, as you know, Hrishi, which is what we do for a living, which are again top of the line. Today, and you know this better than anyone else, a non-film video and a film video pretty much cost the same thing. Yep. A non-film video and a film video we're spending the same money to put it out there into the world, right? So there is a standard that's already been set and a benchmark and a bar that's been set for the country. We didn't want our products not to be, I'm not saying it'll obviously be there, but at least come and be a close competition to the quality and the quantity of what we were trying to do. So we just said, we'll use different people every time. It doesn't matter. If there are artists, Hrishi, who are singer-songwriters and painters, singer-songwriters and video guys. We'll let anyone do it as long as is differentiated. It's beautiful. It is genuinely extremely high on quality. The only thing, and this is something that I keep, beating the head of my guys every day, because honestly, neither for Virat or me, a talent platform should be the be all and end all of where we are. I mean, while we have 500 other jobs to do, but this is important to us because we truly expect that some good stuff, some good people, some good talent will be found here, who will then have a natural. I'm trying to short circuit the 10 years of slave drudgery and walking around in circles, calling people randomly and trying to get a deal. We've done that, bro. 20 years ago when I published my first album, I've gone through that. And I know how hard it is and how much hustle it needs. Yeah. It still needs hustle. But we're hoping that with the democratization of the world, with the democratization of digital, with all of that, something should become easier. And if you're really talented, it shouldn't take you 10 years sitting behind people's offices trying to get a deal. Something should be faster. And I'm hoping that this idea will actually enable, so which is why you'll hear the word enable come a lot from Virat in my mouth, is that we are genuinely trying to enable you to take your art and craft and push it into the mainstream and see if you're good enough to be considered, if you're good enough to be loved, if you're good enough to be adored, if you're good enough to become a star. But if you're good enough to become a star, Hrishi, that will be the, and I know, we've talked about this, till the cows come home. Will we have some breakthrough superstar? Chances are not. It's going to take a few years of, trying, experimenting, figuring out, marketing, whatever. But if we get one next song or 5 songs from now, no one will be happier than us. But the intention is the same. Find somebody who is currently in the world unpublishable. Publish the unpublishable. Give them real wings. Give them real opportunity and see what happens. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of them actually do.
Will there be any subtle integration of your products, your cars, in the music videos or the programming, Virat?
So Rishi, the one word answer is no. That's not the objective. But what happened in the first song, which was about exploration, a car was a organic fit. An SUV was an organic fit, so it appeared once or twice in the song. But otherwise, it's not about car advertising, as they say. It's about making a brilliant music video that does justice to a brilliant song. So if a car features in the story, it's fine. Otherwise, no problem. So it's not the objective.
That's one of the main reasons that we work with this brand, who we otherwise work with as well. Is Virat and teams have never been hung up about my car, my rear view mirror, my wheelbase, my interior. It's never been about that. They've never, ever forced us to make the car the centerpiece of our communication art piece ever. So it's always about, if there is a natural fitment, sure. If there isn't,
and we should.
Sorry, Virat, I cut you. Yeah.
No problem. And the other point is we should. We're targeting the Gen Z, which are anyway very native. So anything that interrupts whatever they're doing is a burr, and that is not a brand they will love. Anything that integrates into what they're doing is something they would really like and consider going forward. So that should be the approach for a lot of brands going forward. And I think I'm very, very clear on what we're going to do on the Spotlight. It is about the talent. So let it be around that.
What is your process, Devraj, of identifying singer-songwriters, music producers for Hyundai Spotlight? Are you exploring regional artists and producers? And if yes, then how are your talent scouts working across the country to identify the next big regional artist, for example?
So you're absolutely right. Yes, the easy answer is yes. Like I said, no, we're genre agnostic, language agnostic, area agnostic, geography agnostic. You just got to be good, right? So digitally, people send us their songs, which anyway people do in the hundreds and thousands, whatever. So you're supposed to send your music to A&R, that is AANR at UMBG. So people with just a subject line which says Hyundai Spotlight, and that's a lot of music that comes in. But our scouts that sit between all my labels in the multiple areas in Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Northeast, wherever, right? And then we've got digital scouts who are listening to stuff and sending us stuff all the time. Their agenda is very simple. Just send us the best piece of music you heard in the last month. Send us that one kid who you heard and you said, oh my God, where is this person from? Send us that song. Because chances are that kid will have some magic that we haven't yet seen because we don't know him. His Facebook or Instagram following is like 270 people. How in God's name are we ever going to find him? Unless, and even like for me, social media, I spend a fair amount of time on it. And again, the same morning I was in this a podcast conversation and they're like, dude, how do you Like, how is it that you spend so much time within social media? The truth of the matter is, I don't spend time within social media. Social media is my home for work. The amount of discovery, finding, disseminating that's going on in that world, especially with youth and music, is phenomenal. Like, I can spend 20 more hours a day and find great talent sitting over there. So we're actually encouraging people to say, if you've heard of somebody who's great, you don't even know. You know somebody is just this genius, singer-songwriter in Gujarati or Malayalam or whatever. Send us. We will find a way. Our job is to go through 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 songs if we have to. And of course, we've got apparatus, people, technology, code to help us do all of that. To ultimately be human beings, we will all agree together to say, this kid, genuinely, we believe something can happen. So once we find that, Hrishi, the process is simple. We kit them with the best technology, the best studios, the best, if they need songwriter, the best producers, the best mixer masters, the best video teams, and of course, my own marketing team and Virat's marketing team, who are pretty good at what they do. And this is something that everyone's excited about. It's not that boss Bacha ka naya gana aaya to abhi sab log 25 jan aake kaam karo. It's not like that. They treated Dhunde Sirate with as much love as they did Jugnu. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's excited to say that, boss, something is happening here. There is a movement of young talent, and there really is an opportunity, and everyone wants to be part of that story. So I don't see for 1 minute any lack of effort or interest or ability to find the right talent to push it into the world.
Virat, what is the largest car buying demographic in India according to your research? And obviously, this probably will tie in to what Hyundai India is doing to cater to that demographic.
Yeah, obviously. So we are, we all talk a lot about, the consumers getting younger, India is getting younger, some of the other countries are not. But I'll give you some facts on Hyundai, So we have got actually a very strongly changing face of our own owners, our own buyers. So the Hyundai customer is getting younger year by year, firstly. Secondly, as we are getting younger customers, things that we have on our cars, like our top versions of our products, are now selling much larger than they were selling, say, 2 years back. So that means the consumer are now wanting more stuff in their cars, more features in their cars. Fortunately, over the past 2 years, we've almost upgraded all our range. So because of that, we've got the most innovative and technologically advanced features in our cars. For example, 7 of our models have Blue Link, which is our connectivity solutions. And now 34% of the sales of those 7 cars are with the Blue Link. Cars like i20, which you referred to, your wife had some time back. Cars like the i20, the top trim sale has doubled over the last 2 years. Okay. Things like sunroof are now 30% of the cars that have the sunroof. Transmissions, we offer a lot of innovative transmissions. Almost 20% of our sales are with transmissions. So this is a younger demographic that wants more with their products. They're very strongly online. So Hyundai India, Facebook with 12 million followers, Insta with 1 million followers are the #1 channels on these 2 platforms amongst auto. We are very, very strong even on Twitter, YouTube. Our content strategy there is very continuous, very engaging, very integrated. So this package lends to some content development that will engage with that, I would say, psychographic. Hence, Hyundai Spotlight fits in very, very brilliantly to the entire ethos. It lends into the car buying TG with the music content that the program has to offer. So it is, I would say, a 1 + 111 kind of a fit that we've got with Hyundai and Spotlight.
Nice. Hyundai is fundamentally a multinational with roots in South Korea, Devraj. I want your thoughts on the explosion of K-pop the world over. It's just unbelievable, isn't it?
The explosion of K-pop the world over is an incredible time, because if you may have read a couple of days ago, we finally welcomed the boys into the hood.
True.
We are now the proud partners and label of BTS finally.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, it's not so much what's happened with, now BTS is in our house, Blackpink was always in our house. It's not just so much what's happening outside, and this is again something Virat and I have spoken over the years. It's the insane ability for a concept like K-pop to permeate into territories and mindsets such as ours. Do you know the kind of K-pop following that India has? Do you know the kind of K-pop understanding. Like, I'll give you a simple example. My number two, Vineet, who you know well, who you've interviewed, who's been on your show before. Vineet's daughter is 14 years old. I promise you, she knows more about K-pop than any music guy in the country. She knows what Jisoo ate for dinner last night. Jisoo's dog met Lalisa's dog. What clothes they were wearing, probably wearing Louboutin shoes. That also they know. So K-pop as a phenomena is it is fandom at its absolute best. It is a level of fandom that I have yet not encountered, seen. And of course, we're all working towards a time when, just our own Korean company actually came up with we just launched our own band called Tribe, which is Tribe with a E. And they're also fantastic, multi, but these things take a lot of time, right? To build a K-pop band takes anywhere between 2 to 4 to 5 years at a very minimum. And then, of course, there are the ones who go through a much longer period of time. So it's discipline. It's a lot of work, but it's all consuming. If the product is right, and we've seen it with all the bands in the past many, many years, my God, that level of fandom, I have never, Rishi, I dare say even Bollywood's fandom is actually second to what K-pop's fandom quality is. BTS had the show during the lockdown, and they sold more tickets worth more money globally, because it was a live show, than any band had ever sold ever before in the world. And fans were like, they said, oh, now India, let's light up India. So there were some tokens and shit that you would buy, and suddenly India would get lit up on the map. And countries were competing with countries. That is fandom. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you say the phenomena of K-pop, you couldn't have worded it correctly, because it truly is a bloody phenomenon. It's unreal.
The Hyundai spotlight is really getting your creative juices flowing, Virat. But from what Devraj tells me off the mic, you're quite the marketeer. Is there any other campaign that you're really proud of, that in recent memory that comes to mind?
So Hrishi, we obviously tried to do more edgier stuff with the brand. Even as recent as 3 months back, Hyundai launched a new range of cars called the N line. This is a kind of a sporty inspiration range of cars globally. In India, it's pretty niche, but why I'm raising this campaign with you is because the campaign actually featured Avatar as a protagonist on all mediums, on ATL, BTL, POS mediums. It had a male and a female avatar. And the entire campaign revolved around the world around you becoming a kind of an animated playground. Now, cars is a serious business of selling, hardcore transmissions and powertrains, etc., etc. But when we took out the commercial, obviously the range of cars is doing pretty well, much above our expectations. But it connected with that TG. It connected with that differentiated Gen Z that wanted to stand out in the crowd by not, trying to do too much. But when such a campaign went live, it again turned heads of a new generation of people that, can maybe connect with Hyundai cars. So that campaign is not more than 3-4 months old. And yes, it's still doing the round. So I'm pretty proud of that. So yeah, much more stuff coming next year also.
Devraj, when are we, Devraj, giving the world the next big international artist? Just like we're talking about K-pop. When are we doing that? You've given the world artists like Divine, Vivian, that collaboration with Nas was wicked. Ananya Birla was given a platform by you to go global. There are other Indian artists who you're giving wings to fly, but that next big international sensation to come out of India.
So I'll tell you, this is now finally a good time to ask that question, and a really wrong time to answer it, because we have all of these examples you gave. They're all great examples of how stuff has happened and how it progresses. And there are not only from my house, but from my other labels. Everyone's done bits and bobs of fun things. But the truth of the matter is, no one has really been positioned as a global artist, because no artist technically has ever been signed into a global label ever. Technically, Badshah becomes the first guy who got signed into the global arsenal of the power and the might of UMG, which means now he has every single country available to him to help him take his music and our music into the world. So technically, he became the first artist who was signed by a global major. In fact, for the first time, someone of the stature of my boss, Sir Lucian Grange, my boss's boss, who's the global chairman and CEO of Universal Music Group and one of the most powerful men in arguably the most powerful man in music. He signed Bacha with us, of course, digitally, unfortunately, because of COVID, but we're going to see each other soon. Bacha will be the first guy who goes in probably the largest way I can think of. There is some super exciting stuff coming up. Some of it's already done. Again, it's a bit delayed thanks to COVID because we haven't been able to fly out of the country. But safe to say, in the next 5 to 6 months, you will see some steps taken in this India to the world by artists and music in a way that nobody has ever done in the country and nobody has ever seen in the country by way of size, scale, collaboration, mount, size, and I can say size 15 times. But in the next few months is when you'll see some very, very, I mean, like I said, it's already done. But by the time we finish putting it all together, because it now needs countries in the mix and not just us. But my brother Bacha will be the first who's going to actually pop open into the ability to become a global superstar. I don't want to be, what's the word? Arrogant and say he will be the first and only global superstar. I want to say he will be the first who will have the ability and the path that's already carved out for him. I have no doubt in my mind because I think he's bloody brilliant. He is one of the finest writers and composers. I mean, I've seen him just do shit in time that it's just bizarre. I mean, he's like a hit machine. It's fun to sit with him. So it's the same, like I said, music that makes you smile. Bacha wants to make you dance, wants to make you party. People like that always do well. And hence, then you bring that into the global mix of ability and size and artists and stuff like that. Chances are you're gonna see some pretty interesting stuff coming this year.
So where is Dhunde Sitare available? We're talking 6 releases in the span of 1 year, right? Where can people keep an eye out
Everywhere.
for all the releases?
Everywhere. So it's available. So first, the home of all of this is socially, it's the easiest place to find us. So Hyundai.spotlight is our Instagram page, which is just brand new. It's a few days old. So, we are beginning to populate that. Hyundai Spotlight is our YouTube channel where, again, brand new, we're just beginning to populate. The songs are going to be found everywhere. They will be on every single service. So they will be on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, JioSaavn, Wink, Hangama, Ghana. I don't think I've left anyone beside Resso. Everyone, right? So it's going to be available everywhere. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be everywhere. You will hear about them because we will market them in a way that we would market mainstream artists. So it's very difficult to, if you're in the industry and in and around, and if you're of a certain age, demographic, psychographic, Virat keeps talking about Gen Z. To me, there is one more generation after that called Gen Alpha, which is just about being born. No one talks about it yet. Yeah. But there are a younger generation of people. And I've actually played Dhunde Sitare to even those bachas. And they're like, oh, nice song. So we're actually going from low to old people, as far as I'm concerned. Our core demographic, core psychograph will obviously be somewhere in the middle, which really tween, teen, little old. First job, that word, and then of course it permeates, but it's going to be available everywhere. I promise you, Hrishi, there's no way you're not going to be able to see it. There's no way you're not going to be able to find these people because we have sworn that we will make enough of a noise and enough of an effort and money and resources to make sure that they are in the mainstream. They're put in front of a large sample set. They're sampled in front of tastemakers and PR people and aficionados and influencers and people who matter. So that we will do undoubtedly.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on more content.